How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to This Week in Points and Travel. I am your host, JP Buffett. On this week's episode, we'll be talking about how Airbnb is trying to get back into New York City. We'll also be talking about how you can use your TrueAvios points to book JetBlue flights. We'll also be talking about and touching on the TPG Awards and its winners. But first, we're going to be talking about the story that just hit this week, how Bilt is adding Marriott as a transfer partner. So I am actually recording this on Thursday, so I'll be out of town. So I don't really know what's going to happen on Friday and Saturday. But so this story right now is really fresh. But according to the Doctor of Credit, Bilt is adding Marriott as a transfer partner. So they are really trying to make a tear when you think about the Bilt card and all of the transfer partners that they have. And they recently added Marriott on at a 1-to-1 ratio. And actually, this is pretty interesting to me. So Matt Clausen on he has a YouTube channel. Great stuff if you want to get up-to-date news. I like his perspective on it. But anyways, he has a he was talking about how with Bilt adding Marriott, they basically added all of Chase's hotel transfer partners. They pretty much have most of their airline transfer partners. They got me thinking. I'm like, wow, they're really going for it, and especially the fact that it has no annual fee. I think this card is really, making a tear. And it gets into something I'll talk about later in terms of the Chase Sapphire Preferred and how it's touted as one of the best travel cards. More on that in a little bit. But I really think that this card is basically given its multipliers, given all of its value that's adding to people, given the fact that you can pay your rent and everything else without, a transaction fee. I think, this card has been great. So also they're adding, for every 20,000 Bilt points you use, you can get an extra 5,000 what's called Marriott points. Now, here's the thing about this. And this is the thing that I think a lot of people are talking about in terms of Bilt adding Marriott, and how it really isn't that, crazy, is because with Bilt has so many transfer partners. There's so many partners you can transfer to, be it Hyatt, be it American Airlines, be it, all the other ones they have going on. The value you would be getting from the Marriott points when you transfer them from Bilt is lower. I don't really go off the points guys valuations, but that is a nice average if you want to find averages. And the average is around 0.7 to 0.8 cents per point versus Bilt being 2 cents per point. So with that being said, it's reason to believe that you're actually losing value if you transfer to Marriott. But I will say this, and I'll say it till kingdom come. If you find value in your life and your life experiences, book the damn thing. Transfer the points. I don't care what else has happened. I don't care what I say. I don't care what anybody else on YouTube or anywhere you hear. If you're gonna find value out of it, if you don't stop and book that thing already, I'm joking for the most part. But yeah, if you find value in life, the points will come back. You'll be able to get them again. Don't worry about it. Live your life. And that's all I'm gonna say on that part. But Bilt is out here. They are looking for all of the smoke. They are, honestly, when you think about it, Bilt is playing Pokemon on expert mode right now. They are trying to catch every last one of them. Watch next week, hear me out. Next week, you're going to see Bilt and Delta Bilt adds Delta as a transfer partner. You are going to see that. I kid you not. And if I'm right about that, call me Nostradamus, but, or the Dave Chappelle version of it. But yeah, that is the first story out, hot off the presses. Bilt adds Marriott as a transfer partner. And with that, we're going to move on to our next story. So for our next story, there has been a lot of news about Airbnb in New York City, how New York City is basically trying to curb Airbnb in terms of people renting out their apartments, renting out their homes. Housing prices are going up. I think housing prices are going up for another reason. Housing prices are going up before Airbnb was a big thing. That's neither here nor there, but Airbnb is trying to get back into New York City. And the way they're going to do this is very un-Airbnb like. So they still have a lot of so Airbnb still has a lot of traffic, and they basically having all this pent up demand and without enough inventory, they need to find a way to fix it. So what they're going to do is they're now adding boutique hotels to their website, to their search engine. There's honestly a search engine at this point, and this is very un-Airbnb. If you know, I'm guessing everybody knows Airbnb is, but they started off as basically it's basically bed and breakfast, bed and breakfast. You basically you go to somebody's house and you get it. That was what made Airbnb and different from hotels. But they're adding in this boutique hotel option in New York City to basically get into this pent up demand. And apparently this is they've actually bought I forgot the actual name of the site that they bought, but they bought a site, and that site already had boutique hotels. So I think this is them trying to basically, they pay for something, they're trying to get the value out of it. And Airbnb has bigger plans here. So in the article, which is linked in the show notes or in the description if you're watching this on YouTube, they are saying that Airbnb is trying to move themselves more away from just being a place where you can, you know, get a room to more of a, they call it an AI travel agent, which I think honestly is a pretty smart deal. I mean, it's a pretty smart deal. You're a one-stop shop for travel. It might be great. I mean, you can add some Expedia in there. You can add some, I mean, I personally enjoy TripAdvisor. I think TripAdvisor is great. But anyways, Airbnb is trying to be this AI travel agent, and by adding these boutique hotels and by still having their bread and butter, the homes that they can go to, though especially in the States, they're really getting hammered by everybody and their mom trying to buy, you know, a second home and rent out as Airbnb. I'm gonna table that from the conversation, but anyways, this is something they're doing. And the CEO Brian Chesky, what's it called, says, I think our bread and butter for accommodations are always going to be homes. I think that is where our heart and soul is. I also think that that is where the biggest growth opportunity will be. But you should not think that that is our total supply or addressable market, as are basically only homes. We had hotels. We've had hotels. We're just prioritizing homes because that's what we wanted to really focus on. So again, like I said earlier, they had these hotels in the back wing or in the back burner, but they wanted to focus on home, which is their bread and butter, which makes sense. And I think this is a great ace in the hole, especially given the fact that New York's trying to curb all of the people renting out their homes, their apartments, stuff like that. So good on them. You know, I mean, Airbnb started off as homes. You know, they started off by doing homes, and that's their bread and butter, like the CEO said. And I think that it makes sense as a company to try to branch out, but I hope that they don't really go straight too far from what they're doing. But anyways, you know, for New York City, look on Airbnb's website. You might be able to book a boutique hotel in addition to booking these other things. And on top of that, I would say you would want to think about using a credit card like the Amex Green Card or other credit cards that have, you know, the travel category if you're booking these Airbnbs, because that way you don't need a hotel card to get it. You actually still get points for that. So that's just a second tip. But with that out of the way, we're going to move on to our next story. So for our next story, this one I just found out about, but Qatar Airways is allowing, they have Avios points, and they're allowing for getting JetBlue flights. That was a tongue twister for a second. I don't know why it took me so long to get that out. But anyways, yes, TrueBlue is JetBlue's loyalty or like point system. And it's a dynamic system, basically meaning that whatever the cash price is, that is the price of the points, which makes it really hard to get any type of outsized value from booking JetBlue flights. But Qatar Airways, they're allowing you to book JetBlue flights with their Avios. And this is coming from the Thrifty Traveler. That's where I saw this article at first. And the interesting thing about this is that they found a sweet spot with the JetBlue Mint. So JetBlue Mint is basically JetBlue's first class or business class, what have you. And they're very expensive if you're trying to book it with points. I think there was times I was looking for one to Paris, or was it Amsterdam? I can't remember. But anyways, I think it was like 170,000 JetBlue points. It was a crazy number. But from TrueAvios, you're able to book this same flight for 78,000 Avios points one way. Now, the funny thing about this was actually you're able to book this round trip before in mint class seats. But they found out that people were actually doing this. They said, yeah, you're not gonna do this no more. We're not allowing that. And they basically curved it. They're like, hey, bro, you are getting too much value for the points that you're spending. So we got to bring that back. And they doubled the number of points. I think somebody was in the article, they talked about somebody from the Thrifty Traveler, from Frequent Miler, got a flight from Boston to Dublin for 38,000 Qatar Avios points, which is an amazing number if you think about it. That's real. That's for 78. That's half the price. So basically, you get a round trip flight for that, and compared to the JetBlue cost of the 30 or 140,000, however many points it would cost. This is, head and shoulders above it. And on top of that, there's actually an award chart. So given the distance you're flying, you can actually predict how much you have to pay. So I love this. I love being able to see how much I'm paying. I hate dynamic pricing because for the customer, it really doesn't work out. For the business, I get it. But for the customer, it's really not working out. And this is great, So Qatar and JetBlue have been partners for a while, which doesn't really surprise me. I think that all of the One World partners, I think JetBlue is really trying to move towards One World. I would not be surprised if in 2 to maybe 3 years time, JetBlue is probably a part of One World and getting back into that Northeast Alliance with American Airlines if the Justice Department does not stop it. But Qatar is and JetBlue have been partners for years, but they're just now getting their loyalty programs to sync up together. And this is great for people who want to try out Mint. I think I might try it out myself. But the caveat of this, and I think it's a caveat for a lot of things that when we talk about, especially when I first got into points and miles, I was like, oh, okay, cool. I get these number of points and I take the flight. You got to find the flight first, bro. You got to find the flight. The points are great. But you got to find the award availability, and that's the hard part. That is the hard part. But if you can find the award availability, it can definitely be worth trying out the Mint seats. If you can't, I would also say economy is still great. At the end of the day, it's about where you want to go. If you get there, I think that is the most important part. But this is a great thing, and check out the article. Check it out. I'll put it in the show notes, and you can see more about this partnership going forward. But with that, we're going to move on to our next story. So for our next story, we are bringing out the red carpet. We are looking into the world of points and travel and seeing who the winners and potentially the losers are. Honestly, at the end of the day, we're probably all losers for this one, but I will talk about that in a second, give my thoughts on that in a little bit. But I want to talk about a few of the winners and best in certain categories. And again, I will link the full article in the show notes for you to check out, and obviously in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to the podcast, I do have a YouTube channel, JP Buffett. You can check me out there. But I want to talk about a couple of these first ones. The first one up is the best first class in Emirates with their Boeing 777 wins the best first class. Now, I've never taken this personally. It looks lovely. I mean, the seats, they look amazing. I mean, mwah. I would love to take these one day. I'll game plan it. I'll game plan it and try it out. But yeah, Emirates wins the best first class. Coming in for best business class, we have Qatar Airways with their Q suites. We just talked about them a second ago. We're talking about them again right now, but they win the best business class. Now, if you've taken this business class, please let me know. I would love to know about this because try it out one day. But yes, that's best business class. And to round it out, the best economy, you know it, you love it. JetBlue wins the best economy. This is US only, but JetBlue wins the best economy. I personally think that JetBlue is the best economy. I've taken JetBlue, I've taken American Airlines, I've taken Delta, I've taken United, I've taken Southwest, I've taken all of these. And I think in terms of bang for buck product, JetBlue has the best economy. I can't say anything about Mint. Maybe if I use the Cutter points one day, I'll try out Mint and I'll review that for you guys. But in terms of bang for buck economy, I think JetBlue is the best. Now, when you talk about, you know, the flight being delayed, well, there, you know, might be a little bit of a difference there. But in terms of economy seats, I think JetBlue wins in that regard. So I agree with the points guy on these ones. On this one, I can't really say anything about the other two because I haven't taken either of those. But the best airline loyalty program, though, does not go to JetBlue. It goes to American Airlines. And this makes sense because Delta wasn't getting it this year, man. Come on now. Delta wasn't, man, look, bro. Delta is toilet is going down, bro. It's not happening. I'm playing for the most part. If you're a Delta loyalist, do not flame me. I'm joking. I'm joking. But this year, American Airlines won that. In terms of best hotel loyalty program, say it with me. Everybody knows what it's going to be. Hyatt. Hyatt wins. You know, I personally do enjoy staying at Hyatt's. You know, I don't really, in terms of the point value, it's great, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I mean, it is great in terms of like the simple point metrics, so it's great value in that respect. And you can't hate it, but you gotta find the award availability for the Hyatt. Sometimes they don't have it at certain places I want to go. But, you know, that is a problem with the program, but it has nothing to do with their loyalty program. That is more with how you can use their points. Next, I want to talk about the best credit card for travel. And the winner for the 6th year in a row is a Chase Sapphire Preferred. You got to be kidding me, bro. Listen, when I first started watching videos on this and whatnot, and I blame the credit card YouTube space for this, honestly. No shame on you guys. If you guys love the cards, great. But when you look at the multipliers, I'm gonna make a whole video on this. So again, tune into my channel if you want to see this. But look at the multipliers on the cards; they're pretty much the same as the Freedom. I think my guy Matt Costin also talked about this. Has the same multipliers as the Freedom. The only reason you would use this card, in my opinion, the only reason you use this card is to transfer. You want me to take the card out your wallet? I see what's in my wallet videos. And they have the Chase Sapphire Preferred. I'm like, bro, you don't use that. Where are you using it at? You don't use your Freedom Flex if you want to get, you know, the rotating categories. You use your Freedom Unlimited if you want to get the 1.5 cents per point. Bro, you are not using that Chase Sapphire Preferred. Let me stop because I'm gonna go on this all day. But they said for the 6th year in a row, it's the best travel card. I disagree. I disagree wholeheartedly on this one, as you can see from my response happening right here. But I mean, if you're watching me on YouTube, you know, this is, you can see my expression. But if you're listening to me, you probably can hear it in my voice. Maybe. Hopefully. Oh, no. Anyways, but in terms of the best no annual fee credit card, I think everybody saw this one coming. That is the Bilt credit card. Bilt won this round. And I personally think that Bilt would have won the best travel card if they had a sign-up bonus. I truly believe if Bilt had a sign-up bonus, that card would have won the travel hands down. Too many transfer partners, too good. It has rent covered. It has all these other things covered. I know, again, it has a lot of things covered. Very unique card. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're doing it, but hey, keep doing what you're doing. But yeah, I'll leave a full list to all of the winners in the show notes. And that's the episode for today, guys. If you enjoyed this, share it with somebody else who might be interested in this. And of course, guys, until next time, peace.